days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the news update episode. More news coming out of Santa Clara, as of course the 49ers are preparing to play the Arizona Cardinals, and it's a dark, stormy day in Northern California. Winds expected to be crazy, yet a lot of 49ers news, and they're out on the field. They're getting some practice in, and with that comes some news about several different football players, and it starts with Elijah Mitchell. We talked about it a little bit on the news update yesterday, that Elijah Mitchell was expected to have his IR window opened. That means 21 days of practice before they have to activate him, but fully intend to activate him before the game against Arizona. I believe that's why they went ahead and moved on from Akeem Spence yesterday from the active 53-man roster, and then, of course, got rid of Jacob Eason from the practice squad to create room for potentially a reunion with Akeem Spence on the practice squad. So Elijah Mitchell could potentially be back against Arizona. That's good news for the 49ers, as once again they bolster a running back room that includes Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, who's had a really big impact on his football team, and then TDP, who's got into the action over the last couple weeks as well. Good news for the 49ers as they head into the playoffs. It looks like they're going to be full strength of the running back position. 2 number 1 caliber running backs at the top with Jordan Mason's physicality. It sounds like a recipe for success. Now, Christian McCaffrey ended up being on the injury report on Monday, dealing with a little bit of what Kyle Shanahan called a mild ankle sprain. Well, it ended up keeping him out of practice on Wednesday. We'll see how precautionary that is and whether he ends up playing back at practice on Thursday or Friday, depending on how he's feeling and how the 49ers feel he needs practice or not. But Kyle Shanahan has been very clear. They are going to go for the number 1 seed. They're not going to back off, and they intend to play well. And with Minnesota playing at 10, they'll have a pretty good idea of whether they have to win to maintain the number 2 seed and whether they can kind of sit back. But if they want the number 1 seed, they have to win the football game, because no matter what, if you lose, you cannot catch the Eagles. Of course, the Eagles will be playing at the same time as the San Francisco 49ers, 1:25 Pacific time. So it should be interesting. But Christian McCaffrey right now, not sure it's something to worry about, but let's watch how this week goes. He gets back at practice during the week, then we can expect to see Christian McCaffrey out there in somewhat of a limited role, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll get some touches, but not what we've seen over the last couple weeks as they look to work back in Elijah Mitchell and probably get Jordan Mason a few carries as well. Deebo Samuel was asked about playing on Sunday, and he said he wasn't going to push himself to play on Sunday. He talked about the fact it was a freak accident, and he was worried that his season was over. So it looks like he's taking it slow. Deebo's being very careful. If he's not 100%, he will not play on Sunday versus the Cardinals. So what seemed to be pretty sure Deebo was going to play against Arizona is now a little bit more up in the air, more 50-50 whether Deebo plays. The good news is if he does line up and play Sunday against Arizona, we know for sure that Deebo Samuel is 100% and confident in his legs that he can go out there and get it done. So a little bit of interesting news from Deebo, hearing it from his own mouth that, hey, I'm not pushing myself. That was a scary situation. I want to make sure I'm right. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. Now, Dre Greenlaw, it is a strained back is the official term that Kyle Shanahan used. So Dre Greenlaw missed practice on Wednesday. They're going to be monitoring him. He still has a chance to play against Arizona. He has not been ruled out. Of course, they do have Azeez Al-Shire, and Al-Shire is a very legitimate backup for Greenlaw's position. It just means when you go to base 4-3 sets, Azeez Al-Shire plays that will backer, and then the Sam backer ends up being Oren Burks. So Burks could see some time, but he did a pretty good job in last game, according to PFF, as he was ranked 80. He had an 87 ranking and score in that football game. So potentially Dre Greenlaw won't miss time. We'll see as this week goes. Another guy that if he ends up being at practice Thursday or Friday, then it's really no harm, no foul. Nick Bosa, Trent Williams did not practice on Wednesday, but have no fear. Kyle Shanahan said just veteran days, managing them, making sure that they're healthy. And I think that is good news for the 49ers. Javon Kinlaw was also limited at practice, but that's going to be the norm over the remaining part of the season, making sure that he's not. But Kinlaw did not practice on Wednesday. Add him to the list, but he is normally limited in practice. He'll be back full go tomorrow. Limited in practice, defensive lineman Eric Armstead and cornerback Ambry Thomas, who's still dealing with the ankle injury. But of course, Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel were full. So that is good news for the 49ers. Now, Arizona facing some injuries as well. And one of those is to their all-star Pro Bowl wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins is going to be out for the game on Sunday versus San Francisco 49ers. So no D-Hop for Charvarius Ward to follow around. They still have plenty of weapons on the offensive side. So I'm not sure that you can take them lightly. In fact, we know you can't take them lightly after what we've seen from the team they just played in the Raiders. They still got wide receivers like Hollywood Brown, Greg Dortch, who's very, very fast, AJ Green, and Robbie Anderson. So a lot of ability there. We'll see what the Cardinals end up doing on offense, but they will be without one of their main cogs in DeAndre Hopkins. They're also going to be playing a different quarterback because David Blah is going to be playing quarterback, not Trace McSorley, who will be his backup. Colt McCoy is going to be out for this football game. So that's the direction they're going to go. And it looks like the 49ers are going to face another, third string caliber quarterback coming up, but they're going to have to take it serious. They're going to have to make sure they go in there and handle business because David Blah is no joke. He's got a little bit of an arm there. So he was pretty good at Purdue. We'll see how this ends up translating for the 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals, but he was going to be without his number one weapon in DeAndre Hopkins. Now, the 49ers also have released their media schedule and exactly what practice is going to look like for the remaining part of the week. On Thursday, they're practicing at 12:58. And after practice, if you want to listen to D'Amico Ryans and Chris Forster talk, they're going to be talking to the media. And then, of course, the starting quarterback time, Brock Purdy will be talking to the media after Chris Forster. On Friday at 12:18, they have practice, and then Kyle Shanahan has a press conference at 1:30. Of course, Saturday, no practice. Enjoy some NFL football because there's going to be 2 games on. Should be pretty exciting. And then on Sunday, San Francisco 49ers strap it up against the Arizona Cardinals. It could be a wet game at Levi Stadium, but the San Francisco 49ers look to get potentially the number 1 seed in the playoffs. At worst, they can get a 2 that control their own destiny. No matter what Minnesota does, as long as San Francisco 49ers win the game against Arizona, they will be no worse than the number 2 seed in the playoffs. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks so much for everyone that has subscribed to the channel recently. Give the video a like if you would. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you guys all have a good one. Stay safe. And remember, the right way is always the 49ers.